All right.
All right. It's another edition of the Way Out Here podcast, sponsored by Manscaped and presented by the Wash Up Network. As always, we're presented by the Wash Up Network and Manscaped finally. They came through after just, a couple of episodes, and now it's our 11th episode, our third with Manscaped. So you can go to manscaped.com, get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Matt, do you have a favorite item from the Manscaped store?
So I personally just purchased I think it's called a weed whacker for your nose hairs.
Ooh, I like that. How does it
Honestly,
work?
I got it Saturday, I think. Yeah, dude, pretty good. I had some freaking big old noggers in there, dude. And you can't pull a nose hair out. You know how bad that hurts? You start crying.
Oh, no, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, so it's nice. You just shove her up in there and let her rip.
Yeah, well, if you want to trim like the Way Out Here, boys, you got to go to manscaped.com. Make sure you get 20% off plus free shipping using code WASHED at manscaped.com. All right, guys, we have a ton of great topics. It was a long weekend. We came into Tuesday, and over the weekend, the first topic we have, Cam Newton is now a Patriot. So the swaggy Cam Newton is now a Patriot. So the franchise, the dynasty is living on. Thoughts on Cam Newton potentially extending the dynasty even further?
He will not. They're going to go 0-16.
Oh shit! Really?
One, I hate the Patriots. Two, I hate Cam Newton. So I hope they go 0-16. And yeah.
Dude, I saw a stat. It was like, so I think Cam Newton got drafted in like 2011. And I saw a stat that said after 8 years in the league, which Cam Newton is at now, after 8 years in the league, Tom Brady tore his ACL. And then he went on to win like 3 more Super Bowls, 2 more MVPs, and like 166 more passing touchdowns. That made me literally sick. If the Patriots go on another run like this, I can't be an NFL fan. No, I don't think so either. But like
Cam Newton's been to one Super Bowl and they lost by 300 points.
Yeah, they got toasted. Their defense was not very good that year at all. So we'll see. The horrible part about this whole thing, he looks good in a Patriots jersey. That sucks. I
hate his hair. He's like the Weeknd.
Oh yeah, he's got that Weeknd hair. What is up with that? I don't know why they like.
How are you gonna put a helmet on with that? You can't put a helmet on with that hair.
He's a good-looking guy. I don't know why they have to have that hair. Same with the Weeknd. Like, he's a good-looking dude, and then he has this hair that's out of just left field. So
I mean, it doesn't matter when you got millions of dollars.
That's true. Maybe I don't know. They're lashing out. Who cares?
Nice.
But yeah. In other news, Mexico City police chief had an assassination attempt by the cartel, which is a wild headline.
Oh
Taylor, you know a lot about this, but there was 3 assassination attempts?
There was, the Jalisco Cartel, which is like a new generation cartel in Mexico, had actually been raided by the police over a period of time lately. And the Jalisco Cartel had gotten sick of this from the Mexican police and decided to put a hit out on Omar Garcia Harfuch, which is the police chief for Mexico. And it did well. He survived, but 2 of his bodyguards did not survive. Garcia actually got shot in the shoulder, collarbone, and his knee after the attack.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was shot 3 times and survived.
Yeah.
My hell, dude.
That's the next 50 cent, dude. This is like 49 cent right now. So this guy is with
49 pesos.
He's a damn quarter.
Yeah, 49 pesos. Oh my God.
Yeah, so dude, could you imagine being the Mexico City police chief? That'd be the worst job in the world.
No,
honestly,
man.
if you're trying to legitimately do good, that would suck. I mean, if you're trying to make coin and just like let the cartel run wild, your job's probably awesome because you're loaded. But if you're actually trying to do good and stop the cartel in Mexico City, 0% chance you live through your actual
absolutely.
job. I mean,
there's so many like documentaries on Netflix about like the drug cartels in Mexico. Dude, you want to talk about dirty?
Oh yeah.
Mexico is dirty.
Well,
it's nuts.
Dude, the cartels are the ones that run that country 100%.
Yeah.
They've been funding Mexico for the last 100 years at least with the cartels. But like how this guy survived this attack is like unreal because there was 28 Jalisco cartel members that attacked his armored vehicle and then they
They
ended
need
up
to go to the range, dude.
Yeah.
Get some work in.
Dude, no, they ambushed his vehicle with grenades and sniper rifles. Like they were on it. This was like a scene straight out of like Grand Theft Auto or something, man. This is
Dude,
like
what's that one
King of the
movie?
South.
Extraction or something like that. That
Yeah.
reminds
the
me
new
of
the new one
Yeah.
with Chris dude is so good.
So good.
so good. Chris Hemsworth is a badass, but I can imagine that was probably the scene where they're on the bridge and
Mhm.
this police chief is just trying to escape and he's just getting grenades thrown at him. I mean, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
They should have kicked him at him. They might have got him.
Oh, dude.
Name another police chief that gets grenades thrown at him.
Yeah,
None.
this guy has got the biggest cojones in Mexico right now. And he like after he got shot, dude, he literally tweeted out, he goes, "Our nation must continue to confront the cowardly organized crime." He called out the cartel on like in the hospital on Twitter, dude. This
Dude,
guy,
this guy has
He
a
probably
death
didn't write it
wish.
himself. He probably had his like social media team
Whew.
tweet it,
I'd like-
but still,
he
to be
I'd
like,
like to
"Hey,
imagine
I need
he-
you to send a fire tweet right now."
I imagine he went live on Instagram or something from the
Oh, dude.
hospital.
He's like
bed.
from the hospital bed. Hey,
Oh,
what's
you think
up?
you got this? Like he's egging him on. He's tempting him again. He's
Dude.
like, "Oh, three bullets, huh? Like you had 28 people and you got 3 bullets. That's the best you can do."
Man, y'all suck. Need to go to the range or something, man. Shooting them freaking Corona bottles ain't helping your aim at all. But yeah, no, that's some wild stuff, man. Mexico has got some deep issues with the cartels that's been brewing for a long time. So props to this dude for going after him, man. That's
For real.
crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, so wild story actually. On our honeymoon, my wife and I were in Puerto Vallarta, and usually the touristy towns they leave alone because they're the biggest money makers in Mexico. All the tourism, Cabo, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, all the cartels leave them alone, but the drug trade is still good because the tourists are trying to buy drugs at like crazy prices. A day or no, the day we left, we were literally in the airport and I was just scrolling through some news stories. The Puerto Vallarta, like the town, I forget what this town is called above it. And it's not even like a town, it's like a borough of Puerto Vallarta. 7 people died like 6 miles away because the cartel head died. And two of the rival cartels were trying to like move in on that territory. So Hannah and I left and 7 people died that day. And we're like, holy shit, like we're bouncing out of this motherfucker. Like this is nuts. So yeah, crazy. But even the tourist towns like aren't safe at some point. So, we had a great time in Mexico. So shout out Mexico for being warm all the time.
Mexico's super fun till it hits about 8:00 at night. Then it starts to get a little sketchy. So once the dark comes out, then it gets real. You ever seen like those trucks with all the police in the back with like ARs just like patrolling the streets? Like they take that stuff serious down there.
Yeah, the boardwalk that we were going by, and I'm blanking on the name, but in Puerto Vallarta, there's this very famous boardwalk where there's vendors and all of that. There was like federales like all over, I mean, they had like AK-47s and it was 20 of them in a row just walking up and down this boardwalk, which, is not normal. We don't have that in the United States. You don't go down to a farmer's market and see, the FBI roaming around because it's not even the city police. It's federales. Like they're from the federal government of Mexico trying to protect tourism inside of some of these cities. But yeah, pretty nuts. Good for the Mexico City police chief. He might be one of the baddest dudes on the planet right now. Hope, pray for his safety because he's going to need it.
He's poking a big bear, bud.
Yeah, I don't. He thinks 28 people is all they have. These dudes are going to bring 7 times the amount of people next time if he's really going to ask for that. So, but what a badass for surviving that. Man, that's crazy. All right, next one is a little bit more lighthearted, but it got me thinking about this because COVID has been so crazy that flights, like you guys tried to find flights up to or down to Boise here in the last couple of weeks. And Matt, how much was it? It was like $350 or something like that round trip.
Yeah, round trip was like $350, $375, and that's depending on the flight. I think that was the cheapest.
Oh, dude, and that was even like a layover in Seattle and Portland.
Yeah, it was
something
some
like
stupid
that.
layover.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So normally, if you're not from the area, normally a round trip flight from Boise to Spokane or vice versa is about $110, $120. If you're lucky, but $350 for round trip. So we're gonna debate a little bit road trips versus flights. So what is your guys' favorite is my question, I guess. And what are the perks of each one? Personally, I'm a flights guy. I like being over with trips as fast as possible, but a lot of people love road trips, and now quarantine is kind of like making people branch out. So a lot of people have been talking some game about road trips and road trip snacks and things like that.
Yeah.
Go.
I don't know. Let's see. So it kind of depends on where I'm going. So if I race motocross in the amateur, like professional,
no biggie,
weird flex.
Yeah, sorry. And that requires a lot of like traveling. And obviously I can't take my bike on a plane because I only bum out on a budget. So
it's not a carry-on?
Yeah, not a carry-on, doesn't fit in the bag. Not even if I took it apart, which I don't want to because I can't put it back together, right? So
that would be bananas every time you go back and forth, you put it back together.
Oh, it'd be unreal. No, that'd be cool as hell if I could do that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I usually go travel like to Montana, or I'll go travel to the west side of Washington and stuff like that. And the drive's actually not bad because the scenery is actually really cool. I like looking at, like, when I go to Montana, dude, like going over the pass, like when you get over the 4th of July pass and you go through all the mountains and everything, and you go through like St. Regis, and then you go through Bonner, and then you go.
St. Regis is where they have those big like motorcycle events, right? Just like straight up like Harley Davidson puts it on and stuff like that.
No, that's Sturgis. That's down in
Nah, I know Sturgis. I thought St. Regis had like a bunch of stuff too, because people like.
I think they do. There. It's just it's smaller than. Is it Sturgis? I think it is.
Yeah, Sturgis is like the big one.
Yeah, it's like the capital of it.
They might. I don't know, man. I don't ride a Harley, but it'd be kind of cool to go do it. I do.
You should show up with a dirt bike and see what they say.
They probably give me some high fives. Who knows, man? Bike's a bike. Unless you're riding a crotch rocket, then I don't count, bud. You take that Jap bike and get the hell out. But the I'm sorry, I've got to. So, anyways,
not a crotch rocket podcast confirmed. Not a crotch rocket podcast.
So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. I like going around and just like seeing the scenery, but more inclined when I'm like traveling like down to Boise, or if I'm going on like farther trips over like 8 hours, I'd rather be on a flight. Like,
same.
I can be in a car for a while, but there's like a time limit to where like I think when you hit that like 5-6 hour mark in a car, you start to just kind of go, all right, I'm done with this. I don't want to be in here anymore. Like, you're trying to speed because you just want to get there and get this over with. But so I've liked flights on that aspect of like just traveling farther, but I enjoy the road trips because you can see a lot more stuff that you would never really see in an airplane, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, what's your limit of driving to flying? Because I think, so for the Fiesta Bowl, we drove from Spokane all the way to Phoenix, Arizona, and it was like 21 hours. Well, that is the last time I will ever do that. I was like a crazy college kid that wanted to go see, the Fiesta Bowl. I was like, this is going to be the only time, and flights were like $600. I was like, oh, I'll drive. It's fine, whatever. Lo and behold, it was like December. It was crazy in like Utah and all of that. It was insane. I don't know why I did that, but that will be the last time that I drive more than 10 hours. I would say probably 10 hours is my limit. I can do 10.
Yeah, I think 10's a good max. I think anything over that, it's like, all right, we're getting a fucking plane. So
yeah, let's get those propellers going.
Yeah.
Matt, what about you?
Yeah, for me, it's I definitely would rather fly, especially like if we're going to Seattle for like a weekend. It really kind of depends on how long I'm there, though. Yeah. If I'm there for like more than a week and I have to drive like 8-9 hours, then I'm fine, because then you have your 8-9 hour drive, and then you have 5 days to chill and do whatever. Right. Then you have like 8 or 9 back. But if it's like anything past that, and if it's just for a couple days, I'd much rather fly.
That's a really good point. Yeah, the day limit makes a huge difference, because if you're just going down for like a weekend, like,
it's tough.
How much time do you want to spend driving and versus like staying and like enjoying the time that you're there and then driving all the way back? So yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, I would say for like a weekend trip, the furthest I'd go would be like Boise, probably. Mm-hmm. For just like leave Thursday, hang out Friday, Saturday, come back Sunday, something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because Boise is only like what 6 hours away
Yeah,
from
it's like
Spokane.
6. Yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, it ain't that bad.
Yeah, it depends on how fast you drive, but I think it's crazy to
Word.
drive. Like Spokane, Boise still is a pain in the ass. Like the drive is so boring. It's just like freeways and
Well,
Yeah, it
pretty
is.
much
It
nothing.
is pretty like the drive to
going
Boise
going
is
through the
rough.
Tri-Cities is brutal.
Oh yeah,
dude,
because that's
Tri-Cities is the
beautiful.
most boring fucking drive ever.
really
That's
is.
the flattest, most desolate land you could travel through. It's so boring. Like as soon as you get past like what is that, Kennewick, and then you go up to the pass to where it's like what am I thinking of? Pendleton.
Yeah, Pendleton,
like
Ontario, like
yeah,
all of that stuff's up there.
yeah, then it's like, all right, then it's cool because then you're like by the river and then you see the mountains and it's like, all right, then you kind of
Yeah.
like, but when that basically from like outside of Spokane till you get to like, well, I don't even know, Ellensburg or whatever, where you actually see some green again. That whole desert in the middle sucks. It's just
terrible.
so boring.
The middle of Washington, like Spokane gets a lot of flack, but it's like the worst city in Washington. It's like, have you ever been to the middle of Washington?
Oh man,
I mean, honestly,
real.
like everything in between, Seattle and Spokane is just, I mean,
It's
you got to
rough.
narrow it down a little bit. It's brutal out there. Like even getting to like Moses Lake, you're like, ooh, I don't really want to be here. So
That's
yeah,
struggle.
crazy. I think we're all on the same path here. Flights is kind of the jam way out here. We need a flight sponsor. Ooh, that'd be sweet.
Brought to you by Alaska Airlines.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
let's go.
Let's go. Free flights, some way out here trips. Speaking of trips, Taylor, you recently went to Montana, right outside of Helena for a little motocross. Can you tell us about your weekend?
Yeah. Well, it didn't go well. Just gonna lay that out. So the trip was fine. I left Friday night, and the race was on Sunday. So Saturday they actually had like an open practice day at the track, and went to practice. Practice was cool. Got to see some like old friends of mine from Montana that I had known from last year racing there, and so that was really nice to see some old faces again. And track was cool. They prepped it really well, and was feeling pretty good. And woke up Sunday, went out, and for a motocross race, what they do is at the beginning of the day, they usually start at about 8:00 in the morning, and they'll do a practice session for every class. So they kind of split it up into like a pro and intermediate practice, and then they'll do like a vet and beginner and women's practice, and then like a 50s and an 80s, just to split it up so everybody gets equal amount of time, a couple laps on the track just to see what it looks like. And then you go straight into your motos, which is like the the actual race part. And so I get into my first moto, get a jump off the gate, running like fourth, and about to catch third place, and I'm coming down a hill and my bike blew up. So that did not feel great on my soul. I was very devastated. So my weekend ended early, but it's no big deal. Just minor mechanical problems. So, I mean, it's nothing that I can't fix and get her going again, but ended up just being the mechanic for the day and watching everybody, and got to see the old man go out and race. So that was kind of cool. And
yeah, how'd old Travis do?
oh, he killed it. He was doing good, man. It was fun to watch, man. He's so funny, dude. He's 50 years old, but he throws down still. It's wild.
I'm honestly, you say that, and I'm not shocked.
No,
Like, I'm
at
not
all.
surprised.
Dude,
He'll
you're
be
gonna
doing
have
that
to
till he's like
peel-
90.
Oh,
Seriously,
yeah.
you're gonna have to peel that dude off a bike. There's no way he's gonna go out willingly on that thing. So
yeah. Travis was on it. So yeah, it was a fun weekend just to sit back and kind of relax. Devastating for me just because it was the first race since like February, so I was actually like really excited to go out and race again. But just wasn't in the cards that weekend, which is fine. But we'll be back. We'll have more races. Life goes on.
Damn, Taylor's like a pro motocross interview here. Just devastated. Cards didn't fall in my favor, and we'll go out next weekend. The team did great though.
Clips.
Really happy with my mechanics and everything back home, and we'll keep racing. I still love you, Spokane, and yeah,
definitely
go
not
Glidewells.
happy with the mechanics because my mechanic is me and it sucked. So whatever, but. It's all right. It's all right, man. It's good. It's all fun, man. Being around bikes and being around, people that you enjoy is always good. And it's always fun to get out for a weekend. So it was a good time to travel. So nice to be out of the house for a little bit.
Hell yeah. Montana's never a bad time. So,
Nope.
hey, it's just an excuse to get out, even if you can't race. So,
Yep.
that's dope. All right, man. We have segments coming up here. We have one whack thing, and then we got top one. So, as always, our one whack thing is banana. So, Matt, do you want to go first for one whack thing?
Yeah, mine was a guy in Louisiana. He jumped into a Bass Pro Shops fish tank. And if you guys have never seen a Bass Pro Shop fish tank, you could have sharks in that thing, dude.
Oh, what?
Like they're
what would
they're
possess
probably
somebody
what
to
like
do that?
8 feet, 9 feet deep and just full of fish. And
Yeah,
I
they're
can't
big,
imagine
dude.
how nasty that water is, first off.
Dude, the fish they have in there are not good fish either. Like they are
No.
ready to kill anything that gets in there.
Yeah. And I bet that water, like I said, is probably disgusting because I don't know how they clean that shit.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Oh my gosh. So did they say why he did it or anything? He just
It was probably just like it was just for fun. Like
oh,
he just
well,
did
that
it for
doesn't
fun.
sound fun at all.
No. And then he was supposed to get charged and they I think they said like he didn't do anything illegal. So
That's going around. Mine didn't get I'm going to go second, actually. I never go second here. Mine did the same thing. So, yeah, not illegal is a really broad stroke nowadays, apparently. So, my one whack thing, there was a New Jersey man. He was in the Joker makeup, which is crazy because we just talked about it and how everybody was dressing up like clowns and going around and chasing people around parks and stuff. But this New Jersey guy was dressed in a Joker outfit. He had Joker makeup, and he was threatening teens with a knife. So he was, and it wasn't like a big knife or anything. He was threatening people with a pocket knife, but they called the cops. The cops came, and they basically told everybody that he wasn't doing anything illegal. I don't know about you guys, but threatening people with a knife seems like it's something pretty illegal.
That's pretty illegal in my book, but you never know anymore these days, man. It's just some kids, man. They'll be all right. It'll buff out.
The officers later in the story, it says the officers later approached the suspect, identified himself as Dibby, and then arrested him in connection with the incident. So they eventually arrested him, but they charged him with a 4th degree unlawful possession of a weapon. So all they did is charge him with unlawful weapon possession, which was the switchblade or whatever.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we know you're trying to stab kids, but that part's not really what we're worried about. We don't want you with that knife.
4th degree unlawful possession of a weapon. That sounds like a fake made up law that they came up with on the spot. Like, we have to do something. But at first they literally said like he wasn't doing anything illegal. So all they could arrest him on is this like weapons charge. That'd be embarrassing. Can you imagine telling your cellmate like, oh, what are you in for? He's like, I literally murdered somebody. He's like, oh, what are you in for? He's like, I don't know. I had a pocket knife. Like I was running around with a pocket knife. That's it.
Well,
I mean, that's how it is over in like the UK though. Like you can't have over
you can't
like
have
a 3-inch. Well, you can't have guns. You can't even have knives.
Yeah,
like you're not allowed to have
people.
Yeah, and there was a stabbing too. There was like a mass stabbing like 2 weeks ago over there too.
Yeah.
Ban all the knives.
There's a thing, a mass
ban
stabbing.
the knives.
Can't have a butter knife. Use your finger.
Oh, a mass stabbing. I know it's not funny, but it just there's something funny about a mass stabbing.
It sounds exhausting.
Just
screw it. Just arrest me. I don't even care. I'm exhausted.
How many people do you think you could stab before you're like, oh man, I don't know. I can't even lift my arm anymore.
10,
probably
10 tops.
Wow, that's a
10.
good number. I don't know if I could get to 10, maybe 5.
It depends on how I'm stabbing. Like if I'm really exerting force,
probably.
that just seems like a lot. But
are you stabbing underhand? Or are you going overhand?
Yeah, you'd have to go the over. Seems like it would take more energy, so you got to go with the quick hitters, just like this, like
the quick. Oh my gosh,
just the quick one. Yeah, and Matt brings up a good question too. It depends on how many times you stab people too, because I can stab 10 people one time. But like if I'm spending all my energy on this one dude, then I'm not going to get very far either.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, if you're stabbing fat guys, they probably last a little longer.
True. Also, sometimes you can't get the knife out of people, I imagine.
Oh yeah. Dude. What if your knife got stuck? Oh,
you're gonna have a backup knife.
Oh yeah, backup knife.
Also, I couldn't be a serial stabber I mean, it's just not in the
I mean,
cards for
yeah.
me either, because once you stab people and you take it out, then the blood's everywhere, and then you're a mess. They're a mess. It's
There's
just
blood
like
everywhere.
a
It's a
big
terrible
deal.
idea.
It's a whole thing, you know. Like it's not like a clean process. It's not a fast process. It's a whole thing. So it just feels
messy.
not worth it.
That's just messy, man.
Yeah,
Gosh,
it
dang
just doesn't do it for me, I guess. But Taylor, what's your one whack thing?
Meth Gators. Tennessee.
Oh, we're talking about meth gators. And it's not from Florida, right?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, Meth Gators comes from lovely state of Tennessee. So in Loretta, Tennessee, the police department down there had made a Facebook post reminding the citizens to not flush your meth down the toilet because it could go down and be eaten by the gators and cause meth gators.
I didn't even know there were gators in Tennessee, to be honest.
Yeah, there's gators down there.
They're big swamps. Yeah, I guess Tennessee is pretty swampy too. But I don't. When I think of gators, I don't think of Tennessee. I think of Georgia. Georgia. I feel like Georgia has a pretty good population of gators, but meth gators are now found in Tennessee. So
yeah, meth gators. I don't really have much words for that post, just other than like, how many times do people need to flush meth down the toilet for the police department to go on Facebook and be like, hey, you know what? Can you guys just stop doing that? Because we're going to have meth gators and y'all don't want meth gators. Like,
well, that brings up the question of how did they figure out that it was the meth that was being flushed down the toilets, and which gator did they find that was like, this guy's definitely on meth?
This guy's cracked out of his mind.
Yeah. So this is the thing. So they didn't find meth. They didn't find a gator with meth, which I was really hoping for, because that'd
be awesome.
Like 1,000 times better. So what happened is the police actually ended up raiding this guy's house, and obviously the guy had meth, and they caught him in the act of trying to flush all the meth down the toilet. And
which never works. Like if you watch movies or any TV shows, when cops are raiding your place and you're throwing things down the toilet, it never seems to work.
Unless it's cocaine. People. Open the cocaine and flush it down the toilet.
Oh, that's a good idea. But people throw it with the baggies. I've never understand that. They
what
like throw it all. It just doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't.
God,
no.
Rookie drug flushers.
Yeah, rookie. You gotta wrap it with a. You got to wrap it with some toilet paper, then flush it, dog.
Please watch our tutorial video on that.
Brought to you by the Washed Up Network.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it. Yeah. So, anyways, people don't flush your meth down the toilet, please, because
I thought this story was gonna go on saying that they found a gator that was like methed out.
Dude, I guarantee you that they probably have, but they're
probably out there. There's no way. With like Florida being Florida, first of all, there's not some gator that's just meth out of his goddamn mind.
Well, this is the thing too, is like they interviewed a vet. Well, all right, I'm gonna preface this. He's not a veterinarian. All right, this guy just says, I'm gonna read the quote because it's ridiculous. He goes, I would guess they might be affected by it, but they tend to not react to drugs the same way we do. I don't know if it would take a lot or a little to get an alligator to do something on meth. I think it's a ridiculous notion. If you flush meth, it's going to be diluted. Now,
wait, so this dude's fighting for people he's like, wait a second. I want to be able to flush my meth. Like, this is a crazy little ordinance we got going on in my town. Okay. He goes on live TV and he fights against it.
Yeah, why are we defending flushing meth? The police department responded to it and they're like, if you have drugs, just call us and we'll dispose of the drugs. Like, oh yeah, okay, we're just gonna snitch on ourselves with all the drugs in the house. Like, hey, we got some spare meth over in the garage and we don't want to flush it down and get the gators all methed out. So
yeah, like, oh my gosh, we just ran into so much meth in our house. We don't know how it got there.
We just bought it the other day. We thought it was mold. Turned out it was meth.
Dude, what in the world, man?
That's a crazy story. You got my mind racing though, because now I can't stop thinking of what animal would be the coolest on a drug like meth. That would just be, just go crazy. Like I'm thinking of like a gorilla on cocaine or something.
Say a gorilla. Like, that would be sick.
Going nuts. But meth doesn't technically. I mean, but
I've never
people
done
on
that,
meth,
so I
like
know
they
what it
don't
does.
feel, right? Have you guys ever seen that? Wait, I think Matt, you're the one that showed me this video back in the day of that dude doing meth, but he was hanging from like an electrical pole, but he couldn't feel anything. So he was being like electrocuted, but like multiple
I do
times,
not
like
recall.
touching the dude. He was like
Oh.
touching the pole, like literally zapping himself.
Oh wait,
And
Taylor.
he was like, they're like, please come down, you're gonna hurt yourself. But he couldn't feel it because he was on drugs. That's what I would imagine an animal would be like, not feeling anything and being 20 times stronger than us. Now we get into a situation where we're in the Planet of the Apes world, and that's a problem.
Man, that'd be nuts. Like a methed out gator, a methed out gorilla. What about like a methed out bear?
Or shark.
Lord.
Oh man,
Dude, their
or a
paws, bro.
Okay. Methed out bear, first gorilla, methed out gator, methed out shark. Who wins?
Oh.
Bear beats Battlestar Galactica. So no, dude. All right, dead ass. A bear would win hands down. Like gorillas have like
Really?
gorillas
Mm.
have brute strength. No lie.
Yeah.
Dude, but they got if it's like one of those silverbacks, dude, they got like some teeth on them too. So
But you got to think about this, dude. Bears have teeth for one.
and they got claws.
Bears are huge. Like silverbacks, I don't know the difference in the size like off the top of my head, but I know that bears in like I want to say Alaska and some parts of North America are insanely big. Like
Oh yeah.
big. And so you got the teeth on the bear, plus you got the claws that rip apart flesh. So a couple swipes.
Yeah, it feels like the gorilla would be stronger for sure, but the bear has more weapons at its disposal just naturally. The claws and the teeth are unstoppable. The gorilla is like stronger by far, but it doesn't have any scary things about him besides just like being able to, I don't know, maybe he just gets in a boxing match with the bear. Who
So
knows?
here's some stats for you guys.
All right.
Okay, so a silverback gorilla can be anywhere between 4 to 6 feet tall. Okay. Weighing in at kind of the middle ground is 485 pounds.
Okay.
That's pretty big.
Dude,
That's
bears
giant, dude.
Bears
Listen,
are way bigger.
okay.
Bears are bigger.
A grizzly bear, adult male, because I think grizzly bears might be the biggest like bear out there. I'm pretty sure they are.
I think grizzly bears are the biggest North American bear. Yeah,
But
I think grizzlies are. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll have to have a resident expert, Colton Westcott. He lives in Alaska. He basically sees bears every day. So
Yeah, Colton.
All right. So a grizzly bear gets length is 6.5 feet. So I mean, if you think about it, length 6 feet, stands up probably a little bit taller, I would imagine, maybe.
probably.
Yeah.
And then males are around 600 pounds.
So it's almost
it's like it's pretty close.
Oof.
It's kind of
If the bears are already bigger though, and they have those weapons at their disposal, it just
I
doesn't
feel like a gorilla would be a little bit more agile.
For sure.
Yes.
The gorilla would have to move its feet a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you got to get behind the bear and sucker punch a bear or something. But seriously though, the gorilla doesn't have any like weapons on him. Like the bear's like paws are sharp. The bear's teeth are sharp. The gorilla doesn't have. I mean, it has teeth, but like when you think of gorilla, you just think of strength. Like,
but a gorilla does have
punch
thumbs. They could do some serious stuff with thumbs.
It just it just does like the poke your eyeballs out stuff
dude.
and like.
I was just gonna say, I was just like, I mean, the gorilla has thumbs, all right, and it's got teeth, but you got to think about this: a bear lives in the wild and eats deer, elk, all sorts of actual other animals. Gorillas are eating what? But bananas.
Do they
greens,
eat meat?
like,
I think.
I don't know. I don't know.
They get their calcium, so
I mean,
that's all they need.
One's vegan,
as,
one is not.
Yeah. Oh, that's the ultimate vegan versus predator right there, buddy.
Seriously, dude, that's why all those athletes went vegan. They saw the bears, or they saw the gorillas.
What was our other one? It was gorilla versus who?
No, it was the sharks
grizzly bear.
versus alligators.
Yeah. Oh, sharks versus shark would fucking alligator up, dog.
Yeah, it depend on the It'd have to be in the water, obviously.
We'll say great white.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm putting money on a shark.
Yeah, I can't see an alligator being able to move quick enough to do anything, especially on meth. My hell. Like those sharks would have no mercy. But alligator skin is so, I always go back to this, but alligator
it's
skin is
tough.
so damn tough. Like I
Yeah.
feel like they can take an unlimited amount of damage.
Man,
and it
that's
just takes
fair.
one.
Dude, they can though.
one
Like if you've
chomp.
seen some of those, like they lose like arms and they're still just surviving.
That
Like-
freaks me out. That makes me think they're like legitimate dinosaurs, because you ever see the alligators with like one leg and they're just still doing it.
Yeah.
You know, they slither around
And
and
it reminds me of that video that I saw, I think like a couple months ago, where they're at some like I don't know if it was like a zoo, but somewhere where they like house a ton of like crocodiles or alligators, whatever, and they throw some food in there, and there's like 6 or 7 of them, and this alligator like just latches on to this piece of meat and then does the roll. Well, he ended up latching onto
yeah.
another gator's arm and ripped the gator's arm off.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Dude.
And the gator's like,
that
"Whoa,
hap-
what the hell, man?"
Yeah, that's common. Yeah, I've
it's
heard about that
crazy.
happening in those zoos because they're so confined and they
Yeah.
like they just will tear each other up. That's
Yep.
just what they do.
Oh, dude,
That's
that's
crazy.
crazy. That's insane. But I mean, I'm guessing the gator lived, honestly. Like
No,
they're
yeah,
just
he did.
weird
Yeah.
creatures like that they can lose just about everything and still live somehow. So
Cockroaches of the swamp.
literally. I don't know. A shark goes into swamp territory. It might be home field advantage for those gators. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
There you go.
I think the gator would have one shot. The gator would have one shot to like take a hold of a shark. And if it loses that one shot, the shark is just going to have a field day with it. So,
Yep.
yeah. Man,
I
I
agree.
could literally talk all day about sharks and alligators. I don't know why I love this
Yeah.
conversation so much.
This is super interesting to think about, actually.
Especially on meth. Now that we added a new element, it just feels like it's a whole new ballgame.
Oh, here we go.
But here we go. All right, next segment, we got top one. Sometimes we do top one worst, but today we're actually just going to go with top one. We were talking about TV show characters that we love. I think we talked about New Girl last week and how much we love New Girl. Megan was on the episode, and she's a big New Girl fan. And actually, my favorite TV show character does come from New Girl as well. So I'm going to go with theme. But I'm going to go last this time. Taylor, do you want to go first for your top one TV show character?
All right. So my top character is I can't remember his name. I want to say it's Peralta though. Peralta from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, yeah.
It's Andy
yeah.
Samberg's character. I
Yeah,
honestly
Peralta.
think he's probably like one of the funniest cops like ever, because that whole show he like actually solves crimes, but like there's so much other like little comedy things they have in that show that just make it so funny. But it's
Dude,
hilarious.
Boyle is funny too.
Dude,
Like
Boyle-
partner, dude, they're
Yeah,
both
I
just
love
so
it.
funny together.
Boyle's hilarious. Yeah, no, I think Peralta is probably one of my favorite TV show characters
yeah.
right now.
Dude, the
100%.
chief, not the chief. What's his title?
Is it,
The black dude that's
captain.
on the
Captain. He's
yeah,
the captain.
captain.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, he's
He's
so
pretty funny, too.
underrated funny.
Yeah.
Just
Yes,
like
dude.
the deadpan that he gives
Yeah.
everybody, and oh gosh, that whole cast is super good.
So good.
I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm actually
Yeah.
rewatching the whole thing, and it's just as good as when it started.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember when it came out, like I didn't know if it would last, so I like watched every episode in sequence, like week to week, which kind of sucks. I don't know why that still exists, but yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was awesome. Jake Peralta's the best.
He's so funny.
Matt, what about you? Top one?
Dude, yeah. For me, I got to go the classic Michael Scott. Dude.
Yeah,
He's
you can't go wrong.
so
Can't go
wrong.
funny.
As the literal king of.
He's the world's best boss. You know.
That's like the best scene when he grabs that mug. It's like world's best boss. Got this for myself last year.
Oh,
It's
I just
so
watched.
funny.
There was a Twitter post, and it's like a famous GIF now. But it's the one where I think Jim is trying to quit, or he's getting transferred. And he goes, "I am going to kill myself. I am literally going to kill myself." And he's like telling Jim this in his office,
Oh,
and he's
man.
like banging on the desk. Oh my god! I was crying
Oh,
laughing,
man.
literally in the
I
middle
think
of work because that pulled up on Twitter.
My two favorite like moments for Michael Scott have to be when he kisses Oscar.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
And
See,
when-
we were talking about how much that show would probably get canceled if
Oh,
it was
yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was honestly
was
such great
so
television.
funny.
That whole episode is because they're trying to do the the discrimination training.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
he's trying to prove that he's not discriminating against anybody. And so he's doing these things that are obviously super offensive.
Dude, and then when Toby comes back, is it Puerto Rico?
Yes, dude. Yeah.
I think it's Puerto. He's like, no, God, no, no.
No, God, please, no. He's like, you're kidding with me, Jim. You're kidding. he goes
Dude,
back.
Then he
was
just like
so
appears,
funny.
like just Toby comes out from the back, and he's just like, just straight face, just screaming like right to him. No, God, no.
My
Oh,
favorite part
man.
about that too is like they just fade to black. Like they like end scene right as he's yelling at Toby, just no, and then it fades to black. It cuts scene and goes. So all you see is Michael just yelling at Toby. Oh my gosh, so funny. One of my other favorite times with Michael Scott is when he runs over Meredith, and so and then they find out she has rabies.
Man.
Because she gets ran over, but she has rabies because Dwight has that bat. Remember, she gets like stuck it with that bat. So Michael's like, well, it's kind of a good thing I ran you over because you got tested and now you can beat rabies. And it's like, there's already a vaccine for rabies, Michael.
Dude, it's so funny when she flashes him, and he's like super shocked, and then just takes a picture. Like
He just takes the Polaroid. He just takes it, like looks at it and walks away.
and scene.
End
Oh,
scene.
That's
Oh my gosh.
amazing.
Dude, I have to I think it's been long enough since I actually went through it all that I can probably go back and watch it and be fine. The first couple of seasons are a little bit rough, but
Yeah, they're
like
tough.
once you get to the second season, I think you're good
Yeah.
to go. But gosh, what a funny show. All right, my top one to round it out here. Nick Miller is my favorite TV show character of all time.
Oh yeah.
It's a close set, like I feel like top 5. I can put Schmidt in there as well because they're such a fantastic duo. But Hannah and I have been recently going through New Girl episodes just in the background during work and stuff. And oh my God, Nick Miller is so damn funny. So with him, Zooey Deschanel and Schmidt there, it's so and even Winston, honestly, Winston's
Dude, they're all
Dude,
so
Winston's
funny
underrated, man. Winston's so
Oh, yeah.
funny in that show. Oh man.
We actually
funny.
just passed the episode where he's like learning. He does the bells super
Oh my
well, and so
God,
he's trying to
yes.
teach the classroom the bells that he's
Yeah.
super good at, and he's telling all the students that they suck. And she's like, "You got to stop saying that they suck. They're never gonna want to play these musical instruments." But Nick
man.
Miller, my top one TV show
Absolutely.
character. I think he's so funny. He's also on another show I just watched. He's on a cop show. And he plays like a bartender. It's a little bit more serious role, but he's a pretty good actor. So,
Oh yeah. He's like, doesn't he go like undercover for the cops?
yeah, he plays on NBC. I forget what. It's actually a girl that plays on New Girl, but she's she's like an extra on it. But super funny show. And he plays a serious role. He's just a good. And I listened to a podcast interview with him like a year ago. He's just a funny guy, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the guy he plays, Nick Miller, is actually him. He's just that funny. He just played his regular self in New Girl, which makes it 10 times better. So
yeah.
All right, guys, that rounds out our segments and everything. I think we're good to go for this Tuesday. We'll be back on Thursday. We'll actually have a special guest, so we're gonna throw it out there tomorrow. Our special guest on the episode. It might be a crossover with throw pillows and finger guns. Not even the boys know it here, so
man,
it might rhyme with hits. Who knows? And
Pits! I love Pits.
I'm already excited. So we'll see what happens on Thursday. So we'll be back here. Make sure you still go to manscaped.com. Use code WASH for 20% off plus free shipping. As always, we're presented by the Washed Up Network. We appreciate everybody, and we'll be back on Thursday.